Hello and welcome to Unpreachy, a podcast of homilies from St. John Chrysostom Parish. Today, Father Brian Zumbrum reflects on Luke chapter 10, verses 38 to 42, the Gospel reading for Sunday, July 20th, 2025.
So hanging on the mirror of my bathroom is a magnet my mother purchased for me several years ago. A magnet.
Thank you.
Just two simple sentences that sadly encapsulate my life. Me, I need some help around here. Also me, no, not like that. Here, I'll just do it. Now, my mother knows me because I am her son, so that magnet could have been on our kitchen fridge my entire life growing up as well. And I see the smiles and the laughter, and I'm going to bet that those of you who are smiling, it's because you understand. You are my fellow Marthas in the room, the ones who are always doing, the ones who so often can feel taken advantage of, the ones looking for validation from another, the ones waiting for someone to acknowledge all the work that we've done. And instead, we get this gospel. Now, I'll be honest, I used to get real mad when this gospel would cycle through. I'd be sitting in the pews and immediately would jump on my high horse and begin debating with God right then and there. Are you serious right now? Mary is literally sitting there and she gets praised. And yet I assume, O Lord, you would like to eat at some point in this story. Where do you think that's going to come from? And don't get me started, where is Lazarus in this whole story? Oh, he doesn't get mentioned, probably lounging also in the other room. Unbelievable. By the time the gospel and homily was done, I would be so filled with self-righteous indignation, I would walk out of Mass and need to start doing something, secretly convinced that it was Martha's who were going to save the blessed world, as Mary just sat there at his feet. But several years ago, I was in Mass with an oblate who reframed this passage in a way that was really helpful and yet hit way closer to home than I was comfortable with. He argued the issue is not what Martha or Mary are doing or not doing. He goes, the issue in this story is who was able to remain present in the moment they were in. For Martha could have been present to God in her hospitality. She could have seen God's handiwork in each dish she prepared, in each sweep of the broom, but she lost sight of that. She got caught in living in the future, anxiety over whether or not she was able to get it all done, whether or not Jesus would approve of her hospitality. And then she got caught in the past, anger and frustration over the choices her sister was making, and feeling abandoned by her sister when she thought she needed her. And so, torn between future and past, she stopped being present and missed the moment, the only moment in which God is ever present, which is this one. She missed where her God was, and therefore she also missed where her sister was and where she was. I must admit, this lens is much more humbling for me, because if I am honest with myself, I frequently fail to stay in the present moment. And in the process, I've come to realize I miss the God who is present to me in that moment. You know, I get so caught up in doing the things that I stop remembering why I'm doing these things in the first place. I get so caught up in doing the things that I completely miss the people I'm supposed to be doing them for. I stop seeing the face of Christ when I see their face, because I simply just see more work coming at me. See, Mary did choose the better part, not because she chose to stop working, but because she chose to be present to the moment that was before her. She chose to be present to the people who were in that moment with her, and therefore was present to the God who was at work in that moment and in the lives of all those gathered. And I'm convinced that each of us, Mary or Martha by temperament, can choose this better part. We can be present to God at work in our routines and in all the quiet moments of solitude and silence. We can be present to God at work in our families, in our colleagues, in the moments of drudgery and the moments of recreation. We can be present to a God who resounds in our laughter, and we can be present to a God reflected in each tear as it rolls down our face. We can be present to a God who is with us in those moments when we feel adrift, and in the moments when we're overwhelmed, and in the moments where we're enraged and hurt, and in the moments when we're defeated and tired. We can be present to a God who is alive and at work in each of us. The God who gazes at us with infinite love each time we glance in a mirror. To be present each moment and every moment. This is the challenge presented to both Mary and Martha, presented to each of us. And if we choose that, it will never be taken from us. May God be praised.
Unpreachy is a production of St. John Chrysostom Parish in Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Visit us at sjcparish.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. This podcast was produced by Brendan Lorden with music by Skytoes on Upbeat. Thanks for listening. Be well.